Hey, sports card collectors and investors. Thank you for joining me again on this Monday morning, this glorious Monday morning after a Saints victory. It's never, honestly, like my mood will be associated with how the Saints perform on game day. So today I'm pretty upbeat. If they ever lose, they might not ever. I mean, this might be that 16-0 season, 19-0 season, but if they might lose, I'm getting too cocky now. They're probably going to drop the next 5 games. But no, it's week 1. It's the typical overreaction where everyone's going to say that this player's horrible or these players are great or this team is going to the Super Bowl, etc. And the reality is week 1 is usually a farce. It's usually a lot of overreactions. It's teams just trying to figure each other out. And it's even more exemplified this season given the weird scheduling with COVID. There's no real preseason, there's no real training camp or kind of like a semi-training camp. So, it's just going to be an odd year. I think that, and a lot of the analysts have talked about it, the teams that have that continuity going in are probably going to have an advantage over teams that are with a brand new coach or a brand new quarterback or whatever the case may be. And that makes a lot of sense to me. So we'll see how it goes with this season. I think that a lot of teams are going to bounce back after the week 1. Like I said, it's going to take time getting used to no fans in the stands, getting used to new teams and new people, new personnel, etc. So don't overreact to the first week. Although I'm happy the Saints did win. I think the Bucs and Tom Brady are going to bounce back, and they're just not in midseason form yet. I think that this season it will take until about the midseason to actually be in midseason form, whereas we're used to Tom Brady just firing it right out of the gate because he's used to the offense in New England. He's used to everything around him in New England. And now he's got brand new circumstances around him, just like a lot of other teams. So it's going to take some time to gel, and we saw that yesterday. So let's go ahead and move on. First, I'm going to talk about supply and demand in the card market, and then later I'm going to get into my mail day and some interesting pickups, some surprise picks probably, some surprise pickups that you guys may or may not have seen coming, I suppose. But I'll go ahead and dig into that. So the first thing is obviously sports cards as a whole have been down. And even players that don't really make a lot of sense, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, they have a lot of cards that are down in price. And so it is kind of that question of, are people getting out now? Is demand waning? Is this just a kind of a small blip, kind of like what led up to, COVID happened and then we had 2 weeks of slowness, there was a sell-off. Is it kind of that little blip, or is it something that could be a little bit longer than that? Is this something that could extend, maybe for months and months, or maybe was that just kind of the pop that sports cards had and it's over now? I mean, we don't really know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, it's the roller coaster. You kind of, and that's why we play the game, I suppose. it's fun to speculate. But what happened over the last 6 months in sports cards might never be replicated again. It might not. But I am optimistic, though, that there will be kind of a bounce back. Do I think it's going to be what it's been over the last 6 months? I'm not really sure about that because the last 6 months, there was many different factors, I think, that went into the explosion of sports cards. And so pricing kind of reached a level, especially with a lot of players, where you have a lot of kind of built-in accolades in those prices, in my opinion. LeBron James cards have been extremely expensive for good reason. Best basketball player on the planet. He's turned into playoff LeBron, the typical dude, that comes through and just crushes when playoff time comes, and he's done that again. So they're sitting there waiting in the Western Conference Finals for either the Nuggets or the Clippers, and it just kind of looks like the Lakers have a lot of momentum, whereas the Clippers don't have that momentum. Even if they do get by the Nuggets, they're going to have just fought through a 7-game marathon, whereas the Lakers are going to be nice and rested kind of heading into that series, and I think LeBron is going to be ready to go. Although I do think that the Clippers, or the Nuggets for that matter, will play hard, and give them a run. So I'm more interested to see what's going to happen with Celtics Heat. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent again. So, all right, supply and demand in sports cards is a real thing. The most dangerous statement I've been hearing over the last few months in sports cards is pop reports don't matter. And, with any sort of collectible, it doesn't matter if it's sports cards or art or, stamps or graded video games or whatever the case may be. When you have a fluctuation in supply, it's going to affect pricing. It typically does. If that demand is not going to meet that fluctuation, meaning if there's a lot more supply that hits the market and the demand isn't waiting there, to keep it going, then you're going to have fluctuations in price. I've talked a lot about the 2018 Luka Doncic Prism rookie, the base Prism rookie, and I think that that's the most vulnerable card that he's got. It's obvious that it is, just because, yes, it's very liquid that you can turn it over very quickly, but you're looking at what, 13, 14,000 of those on the pop report and rising. I really, really am curious to see what that pop report's going to look like at the end of the year, because I still think there's a lot of those at PSA. So, I think we need to see, where does that end? Where does that pop report end? Is it going to end at 14, 15,000? Is it going to get to 20,000? Is it going to reach a point where it's just kind of slowly going up, or is it going to continue to, kind of shoot up the way that it has over the last 6 to 9 months? It's the same with Zion-based rookie cards. It's the same story. It's just, as more and more hit the market, you're going to face, these types of issues where if demand is just not there. You look at what happens with Zion, where kind of a disappointing bubble performance and they're knocked out, prices sink, and then you still have those prop reports going up. So not only are collectors and investors kind of down on the player right now, but then you also have a higher supply. It's not a good blend, for prices, if you're looking for prices to increase. So I can't stress enough the importance of just the basic laws of supply and demand in collectibles. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just sports cards. It's with anything. If you have rarity, if you have scarcity, then, it might not be as liquid. It's true that, you might not have as many buyers for that rare piece, that rare item, but you are fairly safe. It is more safe if you've got scarcity wrapped into whatever that is. And that's why you see fine art selling for tens of millions of dollars, because it's a one of one. It's it's a Picasso or whatever. It's a limited finite amount. So, I think that that's something that, I hope that if there's a huge lesson with the whole education process of not just sports cards investing, but collectibles investing in general, it's please pay attention to supply and demand, because it is a real thing. And it's not, this whole thing of, Luka Doncic has, 100 million fans in China, and that alone will carry over. There's still only 12,000, Prism rookie cards. Well, not everybody that's a fan. You can't correlate every fan that's buying a Luka Doncic rookie card for $2,000. I have friends that are huge basketball, football fans. They don't own any cards at all. So the making kind of that correlation of like, oh, there's a million fans, so that means there's all these buyers for this card or these sets of cards. That may or may not be accurate. It probably isn't accurate. So, supply and demand is king. When it comes down to it, scarcity is king or the queen in this market, in these markets. It just is. So, for all of you that follow the channel, thank you very much for hanging with me. We're closing in. We're getting up to about 2,800 subscribers now, on our way, hopefully, to 3,000. We've been trending upward. And so, thank you very much for tuning in for those. If you have not subscribed already, please do so. We've got daily content coming out on all things collectibles investing with a heavy emphasis on sports cards. But yeah, we appreciate having you and excited to kind of get rolling here. So I'm going to go ahead into the mail day. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a mixed bag of football, and I'm going to start with the modern stuff, and then I'm going to move into the vintage stuff. So, first off, I picked up a couple of second-year McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. So, I've got a kind of a tough. See if I can find a good angle here. But there is kind of like a hollow element here. It's the playoff ticket. McCaffrey. It is numbered out of 175. I like to stick to the numbered cards, because I feel like, you have a little bit more protection there as far as print runs go. And so these are, the second year McCaffrey was $8 shipped. A lot of the stuff, the rookie cards have certainly gone up a lot in value, but a lot of the second year stuff, there's some good value, in my opinion. Can I find some good lighting here? Saquon Barkley, again, it's second year, Optic Hollow. See if I can get it up. Is this going to do it? Okay, this is a little bit better. Okay, Saquon Barkley, second year Optic Hollow. These were only $10. I got this one, and I actually was able to get an orange one for $11. The dang Scotch tape. The Scotch tape gets me every time. I haven't actually tried to dig into this one yet, but unreal, man. Don't use Scotch tape, people. Do not use Scotch tape. All right, so Orange Prism, or Orange Optic, I'm a huge fan of. Orange Prism too, but I just think those are sweet cards. I got a 3-pack of Derrick Henry second-year silver prisms, Prism Silvers. These are 2017, or are they 18? Or are they 16? These actually might be rookies, guys. I am not sure if these are 16 or 17. They're not 18. I know that because I know the look of the 18s. But either way, it was $25 for a pack of 3 of those. So I like that value there for Derrick Henry. And I've been going heavy on running backs. To me, Derrick Henry was the most exciting, most dominant back in football last year. So I'm kind of riding that wave of Derrick Henry. My Saints, my Alvin Kamara, I picked up another Optic Hollow. This one, I believe, was $27 shipped. I've stocked up on a few of his rookie cards. I just think, and he just got paid. I think that he's got a nice little career ahead of him. This, honestly, I just thought this was a cool card. This one was $15 shipped. This is a third-year Henry, I believe. I think this is 18 select, but it's a bronze field level, numbered out of 75. Just thought it was a sweet card. And then it was, $15 shipped to me. I just like it's numbered. I thought it was a really cool card. Picked up another batch, another 3-pack of TJ Watt Optic rookie cards. They're not hollows, they're just the regular Optics, but they were $3 each. And if pass rushers in football become a thing, I thought that would be kind of a nice have. TJ Watt's one of those up-and-coming pass rushers. All right, we're moving into the vintage stuff now. I'm excited about it. Art Monk rookie card PSA 9. Loving it. All right, so Art Monk is so underrated as a wide receiver in the NFL, Hall of Fame receiver. I paid $68 for this Monk rookie card. So the PSA pop report for the 9 is 871 currently. There's only 75 10s. So that kind of, it's like if you can't afford that 10, you're pushed down to the 9. There's only 871. It's not super rare, but still fairly rare. So it's $68 shipped. I like the value for a Hall of Fame receiver. Picked up another Falk rookie card. These are not scarce at all, and this is a 9. I do have one of the 10s, but the 9. So the 10s are about $250. These are I got this for $25. There's 2,800 of these roughly on the pop report. So I mean, there's a fair amount of these, but at $25 ship for a Hall of Fame running back for a foil card that's difficult to grade. These 9s, I like it. It is junk wax era type stuff, but he's an all-timer. He's an all-time running back, so I'm going to add. I've got 3 or 4 of those now, so I don't mind it. This is one of my favorites coming up. Let's go, Archie Manning. Archie Manning is not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He is in the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. His sons obviously are in the Hall of Fame or going into the Hall of Fame. I shouldn't say they're in. They're not in yet, but they're going into the Hall of Fame. I guess Eli might be a debate. Peyton certainly is. But Archie Manning was the best Saints quarterback before Drew Brees. He was the best Saints player, really, ever. Maybe Willie Roaf, offensive tackle. But Archie Manning is beloved in New Orleans. He was just a great player on a bad team for a long time. So this one, it's a PSA 6, but this is from 1972 Topps. So this is a vintage card. Only $40, $45 shipped. The pop is 152. There's only about 1,000 of these cards total that have been graded. And, with it being almost a 50-year-old card at this point. Is that right? Yeah, that's almost a 50-year-old card. I don't think you're going to be getting too many PSA 10s rolling through on that one. And those are tough grades. They're condition sensitive, so I like that one. Here's one of my guys, Howie Long, PSA 9. I love the 84 top set. Just like 89 score or 89 football, 84 tops had just loads of Hall of Famers. Howie Long, Hall of Fame linebacker for the Raiders. This one was $45, $50 shipped, and it's in a PSA 9. And again, not a lot of the Howie Long rookies. I think there's less than 1,000 maybe of the PSA 9s. Now again, not everyone sent them in for grading because these cards have not, they haven't been very popular, and still aren't for that matter. I mean, there's not loads and loads of demand for a lot of these vintage football cards. I think there will be over time, though. All right, and I'll finish with, I have 2 of these now. This is an 83 Topps Marcus Allen rookie. Marcus Allen, another unheralded running back, very underrated guy. He was kind of quiet guy. Bo Jackson came along and kind of, he had to share the backfield. The guy was always just a really stand-up dude. Hall of Fame running back, and that card, I believe I got this one it's right at about $80. The pop on these, so not rare for the Marcus Allen. There's 1,700 of these roughly, so not super rare, but it's an $80 card. But there's only 164 10s. So again, it's like if you can't afford, for those that can't afford the 10s, which are going to be most people, that 9 is, I like the value there at the 9 for under $100. All right, guys, I don't want to make the video too long, so thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate you sticking with me again through all the videos, and hopefully the Saints can keep it going. Sorry to all the Bucks, Falcons, Panthers fans out there that are hating us right now, but it's a long season. So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and we will talk to you again later.